Guys, so I wanted to tell you this quick story about this week and some interesting stuff that happened. So as a lot of you guys saw in our last video, we were building a chicken brooder for a new set of chicks that were coming in, and we were super excited about that. So I kind of told a little bit of how that happens with chicks, is that they show up at the post office. I come really early, pick them up, and then they come home. And so it's about a 3-day process from the time that they've shipped from the hatchery through the postal service to us, and we pick them up and then we bring them home. So I knew that they were going to ship the week of the 30th. It'd probably be Wednesday or Thursday when they got to our neighborhood postal office. And so got the call on Wednesday morning. They call and they say, "Hey, your chicks are here. You care to come down and get them?" So I walked down, definitely didn't walk. So I go down to the post office, get them picked up, and I started noticing something just didn't seem right from the beginning. Like, I had 2 boxes, and I was pretty sure that I should have 3 boxes. So, and I also didn't think much about it. Like, I thought, well, they're chicks, they're small, they're little tiny chickens, and they're not going to be taking up a huge space in the box, but I kind of have a good idea about when I order how many I'm going to have as far as in the box, just because we've done it so much. And I take them out to the truck, and I decided, you know what, I'm going to open these boxes before I leave and just kind of double check as to how many there is. And I knew I had 80 of one type of chicken and 25 of another type of chicken that, so I knew about, I knew how many I had, and so I started counting, and between 2 boxes I had around 65 chickens. So I knew that, there had to be a missing box. And I assumed that the 25 breed of chicken would probably be marked different, or in its own box, or something. Because why would they not be? To the warehouse entrance of the postal service, post office, whatever you want to call it. And we're like, hey, I think I'm missing a box. And I noticed on the side of the boxes that it said 1 of 3 and 3 of 3. So I'm like, there's a 2 of 3 missing somewhere. And lo and behold, there was. So I go back, knock back on the door, guy comes out, and I'm like, man, I think I'm missing a box for these chicks. And he's like, well, this is all that came. Basically all he said. This is all that came today. And I'm like, okay, no problem. I'll call the hatchery. Get back to the house, call the hatchery, and they're like, yeah, this should have been all together and shipped, and we're not sure why you don't have them. And after a conversation with them, they were basically said, if you don't get them by tomorrow, call us back. We'll reship you another shipment next week. Like, if you don't get them in the morning, let us know. We'll ship you what you're missing, and we'll take care of it. This happens sometimes. Sometimes they get misplaced. Sometimes the boxes get separated. It's a whole list of things that could possibly happen. But as anybody who knows has ever bought chickens, like, you got 3 days to get them because they're not going to survive. They literally went without food or water for those 3 days. And they just can't do it. Like, they gotta have food. They gotta have water. Just like as humans, like, after a certain amount of time, we're gonna get really thirsty. And we're gonna get really hungry. And so that was our concern. Was somebody's messed up, and these chicks are on a warehouse shelf, which doesn't really make any sense either. Because if you've ever bought chicks from a hatchery and had them shipped, you know how loud they are when you pick them up. So they should know. Couldn't find a tracking number for a separate box. Hatchery couldn't find a tracking number, so we just went on the fact and hoped and prayed these were going to show up tomorrow morning at the time. So next morning, I'm expecting a call 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning like normal. I was already up by that point, and was just kind of waiting for the phone to ring, expecting that it would, and never got the call. Phone never rang. Never heard from them, so I'm assuming the package is lost. And I'm like, well, those poor chicks are probably dead, or will be, and I'll call a hatchery here after I take care of some things, and they open, and we'll get some new ones shipped. And it's sad, and it's kind of like, I wish there's a better way to do this, but like there's not a quality hatchery within a decent drive without it being a decent drive from here in Kentucky. We got a couple in Ohio and a couple of other places, but like we just don't do business with them anymore. And I don't want to downplay any hatchery. They all have their quirks and things and whatever you want to say, but it just was what it was that day. So I go on with my day, do my morning chores, need to run down the road, go to the bank, a couple different things. I had stopped at my grandmother's house just to check on them, see how things were going, and my phone rings. It's like 10:30, 11 o'clock. Well, I didn't get to it in time, so I have a voicemail from the post office. And as I'm reading the voicemail from the post office, my wife Janelle calls and she's like, hey, the post office is trying to get a hold of you, and I didn't get to the phone in time either, and I can't get them to answer the phone back. They're not calling me back. So I listened to the voicemail. They told me that we have your chicks. Could you call us? So called the number they left. The lady answers and she said, yeah, they showed up like 5 minutes ago. We're not really sure how this happened. And I said, okay. I said, and for some reason I said the phrase, well, I'm about 10 minutes from Catlettsburg. I'll be there as soon as I can get there. And she went, oh, wait. This isn't the Catlettsburg post office, which is where I normally pick them up. She said, this is the Rush post office, which is the community that I actually live in, but it's a very small post office. Like one employee. They don't even sort mail there anymore. They only take packages and ship them out for you. Everything goes to Catlettsburg. So, yeah, I don't know what happened. So I'm expecting to get a box of a lot of dead loss. Because it's day 4. The box looked a little rough, like it had been beat up a little bit. But it wasn't bad. And so I get there. I can hear them as soon as I open the door of the post office. Like they're chirping. And she said, so I get there and she said, I guess you're ready to get the chickens? I said, yeah, absolutely. I want to get them home, get them fed, get them watered. And I said, do you have any idea why they showed up here? And she said, well, the funny story is that I don't know if they missed a shipment yesterday or if something happened, but anyways, these came directly from Charleston, West Virginia, which is a couple hours away, by one of their trucks. And the guy came here and he basically walked in, set the box on the counter and said, I don't know what to do with these, but it's in your district and now it's your problem. Off he left. So luckily there was a phone number on the box and there was a way for her to get a hold of us, because they would have probably not made it if she couldn't get a hold of us. Neat little interesting thing is, I said to her, I said, what would happen if you didn't get a hold of me by the end of the day? Because they close at 3 o'clock. And she said, well, I called my boss just to see what I had to do if I couldn't get a hold of you. And she said, they told me basically contact the hatchery, let them know that they weren't picked up, so the hatchery could go ahead and send their replacements. She said, and he said, either you can keep them or you need to find somebody that was willing to take them. And he said she said that's how would they normally do it. She was a new employee. She didn't know a lot about it. She never received chickens, so she didn't really know what to do. So got them home, opened the box. Like I said, expected to see a lot of dead loss. And just so happened we didn't lose one. They were all alive. They looked great. They looked very healthy. So I don't get this video's I'm new to YouTube. So this video, is definitely not sponsored. But I just wanted to give a great thanks and a big, great job to Murray McMurray Hatchery. We've dealt with Murray McMurray a couple different times on and off over the years. The reason why we hadn't ordered from them so much is because we were trying to find something that was a little closer. Murray McMurray's in Iowa. Honestly, it doesn't speed the process up. Anywhere you order from is going to take 3 days. It's just hatching schedules and how they do it. And they basically can ship anywhere in the U.S. in 3 days. So the fact that although a box got lost, which I don't think was the hatchery's issue, because the hatchery normally would bind all those packages together, the 3, and I checked on that and they did say that they should have been, but accidents happen. They were very gracious to not blame the Postal Service, but I think what happened is I think the Postal Service was probably tossing boxes and tore the plastic band off, and then the 3 boxes got separated from each other. Because and the 2 just happened to stay together and the 1 didn't, and it was a day late. But the best thing is that none of them died. There was no issues, and I think it's because of the quality bird that Murray McMurray raises, and I've decided from here on out we'll order from them all the time. You might pay just a little bit more, but the quality you receive and how great of a bird that is worth it, for me at least. So like I said, we're not sponsored by Murray McMurray. We just wanted to say thank you for what you do, and although a package got lost because of the quality of bird that you raise, we were able to keep all the birds, because even if we would have had, you know, Murray would have replaced any of those that died for us, but that was going to mess up our schedule as far as processing and all that. They were going to be you'd have a half of that group would have been a week behind the others, and then you're going to mess up your, you know, you're either going to have to let them go a little, the first group go a little bit bigger, or butcher the second group a little smaller, and we don't like to do that. We like a good average of all. So that fixed that, made everything great, and I mean it's really kind of amazing. But I just wanted to tell that quick story, just because I thought it was really interesting. And I realized this week at my kids' school, our kids are homeschooled. If you didn't know that, we have a community day every week where our school, you know, all the parents, I shouldn't say teachers, all the parents and all the students get together for their community day, where they do a lot of their science experiments and their math, and they work on what they're going to learn for the next week. And one of my younger sons, it's his first year in the program, so he's kind of like in kindergarten, you could say. And each week they do a presentation where they get up in front of the class and they talk about something. Well, with the younger kids, it's just kind of like, what'd you do this week? Or you play a, you know, can you guess what's in my pocket type game, or, you know, what we call story dice, which is where you roll the dice and you tell a story. Well, he wanted to talk about the chicks that came, and so we were talking about that, and we were showing just a short little video I had put together that shows them from the post office to home and blah, blah, blah. And I realized then how many people didn't actually realize that chickens are shipped every day of the week all over the U.S. by train, by plane, cars, everything. You know, and it's amazing. Like, it's then you kind of realize that maybe how disconnected from the farm we've really become. And if you're not in the farm world, then you don't really understand how this works. So that's part of the reason why we wanted to start making these videos, is that we want to help to educate you, help to let you learn how we do things, how we run a business, how farming is today. So we're going to start bringing a couple videos a week if we can, and we're excited to do that, and we look forward to sharing with you guys more. So make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and share it. I mean, who else doesn't want to see this awesome face talking about farming? So guys, we'll see you soon. We hope you had a great day, and we look forward to sharing more with you.